Top Boys Season 5 just dropped, or as Netflix branded it, Season 3. And you won't believe that insane cliffhanger ending. It totally overshadowed Jamie's death, and easily has to be one of the boldest moves that the creators have made. You know, what's crazy? Big man Sully was really making a name for himself, about to become the top boy in the streets. But then, out of nowhere, someone in a black hoodie blew his brains out. We didn't see who it was, but don't worry, we have some theories that might pique your interest. Well, you know, it's easy to point fingers at the obvious suspect, but let's be real here. Sully managed to make quite a few enemies while he was busy chasing after money and power with his involvement in the drug scene. So, honestly, it's hard to say for sure who might have been behind it. One thing that we know for sure is that it wasn't Duchesne, and that's also only because he'd have to crawl out of his grave to do it. So first things first, let's talk about the events that led to Sully's death. Sully managed to find Duchesne at the summer house estate. It turns out that a little girl's death, which was believed to be accidental, caused a protest against deportations to escalate into a full-blown riot. Amid all the chaos, Duchesne managed to avoid Sully by weaving through all the fires and commotion. But sadly for him, he got caught while trying to climb over a garage wall with drugs in his hand. So the drugs made it safely to the other side. But unfortunately, Duchesne didn't have the same luck as he got shot by Sully before he could have his own way. Sully was shocked by what he had done when he saw Duchesne lying on the other side of the shutters, bleeding out. Duchesne's cries gave Sully a taste of the consequences that his actions would have. But even after their emotional conversation, Sully just couldn't find it in himself to feel sorry for what he had done. He said, "If we're not monsters, then we're food, and I could never be food." Sully had tears in his eyes that he couldn't hold back, but that still didn't stop him from walking past Duchesne's lifeless body to grab the bag of drugs and make a quick exit. So yeah, Duchesne might not be in the lineup, but there could still be other people who could have been responsible for taking out Sully. To be honest, it's such a bummer that there won't be a Season 6 to look forward to. But hey, at least the show intentionally gave us this mysterious ending to ponder over. If you're really eager to figure out who the cold-blooded killer that attacked Sully might be, we've got a couple of ideas for you. It could have easily been Steph. Steph had every reason to not just want Sully dead, but to be the one who pulled the trigger. So, in the Season 4 finale, Steph saw Sully brutally shoot up his older brother Jamie. This event really affected Steph, and it's been a big part of his storyline in Season 5. Jamie's death has had a huge impact on him. It's like he's gone from being your average moody teenager to someone who's grieving and filled with anger. When he started hanging out with Sai's group, he began to express his anguish outwardly and would sometimes act unusually aggressively. At times, it definitely felt like Sai was training him to kill Sully. He even gave the kid a gun and showed him how to shoot. By the end of the crime saga, Steph was definitely having the same ideas when he confronted Sully right before his death. He kept pointing the gun at his brother's killer and asking, "How does it feel?" over and over again. But then Steph seemed to change his mind when Sully finally admitted that he had stopped feeling anything a long time ago. Sully also permitted Steph to do what he needed to do, showing understanding and acceptance rather than being aggressive. So, in the end, Steph came to the conclusion that Sully just wasn't worth it. He made up his mind and let Sully know, then walked away. So he basically took back some of his power by deciding to distance himself from the lifestyle that put his brother in danger from Sully. But the thing is that the person who shot Sully in the head just a few minutes later was wearing the exact same black hoodie and joggers as Steph. It's definitely got us feeling suspicious. Yeah, it's pretty clear that the person who shot Sully knew exactly what they were doing, and at least for us all, the evidence points towards Steph. But still, there are a few characters who have a pretty good motive for killing Sully. One of them is Jack. When Duchesne stole that bag of drugs from her, Sully made it really clear that he wasn't going to let her off the hook for her mistake. Oh, and to make matters worse, he casually revealed that he had actually killed her friend Kieran, who was involved in the theft. This left Jack feeling absolutely devastated and overwhelmed with guilt for getting Kieran involved in the first place. She had just had an awakening and was determined to turn her life around. She wanted to create a safe environment for her nephew, away from the dangers of the streets. Plus, she hoped to start a life with Bex. Yeah, She wouldn't have been able to do any of that if Sully was still alive. So it's very likely that Jock was the skilled shooter responsible for Sully's death. Before leaving behind that life of crime and looking out for her family and herself, she decided to commit a final act of violence. Maybe she felt it was necessary to protect her loved ones and seek justice for Kieran, and knowing that she was a pretty good shot as well makes this theory even more plausible. On the other hand, it could have been Cy as well. Things got pretty intense the last time both of them were together. Sully shoved a gun down Cy's throat right in front of his entire crew. He threw up and begged Sully to spare him, claiming he didn't do anything wrong. It was an extremely humiliating moment for Cy on the streets. Cy and Sully are from rival gangs, so they've got some serious bad blood between them. Plus, you can bet that Sully's disrespect would have caused quite a stir. Cy might feel that Sully's actions were something that couldn't be ignored. And the thing is, if you decide to challenge Sully, you better be prepared to take him down because his comeback will hit twice as hard. Maybe Cy reached the same conclusion too. Could it have been Bradders and his friends? Bradders might not be the most likely suspect, but we can't completely rule him out either. The biggest reason is that he got caught right in the middle of that big conflict between Duchesne and Sully in the season finale. So, here's what happened. Sully told Bradders to go after Duchesne, and he brought along Romando and Samsey. But things didn't go as planned. Duchesne managed to shoot Bradders in the stomach, leaving him with a painful wound. Instead of running to his help, Sully just left him there to bleed while he went after the only thing he really cared about, the drugs. Now that Duchesne was gone, Bradders might have been angry at Sully for almost getting him killed and wanted to get back at him. But you see, for this theory to work, Bradders would have had to be quite mobile right after being shot. So it's more likely that Romando and Samsey stepped in and took care of Sully for him. Especially if Bradders succumbed to his wounds, his friends would go looking for revenge. Final thoughts. Although Jack, C, and Bradders along with his friends could have easily been the murderers, all the logical explanation points towards Steph. He has the best motive out of all these characters. He was practicing how to shoot, and not to forget the biggest similarity between him and the killer was the outfit that the killer wore. With this theory, there's only one catch, and that is that we'd have to believe that Steph got pretty skilled and confident with a gun really quick for him to have pulled this off successfully. But a little suspension of disbelief doesn't hurt anyone, does it? The shooter was definitely one of the many people who Sully had messed with in the past. With that being said, it's safe to say that his past caught up to him and ultimately he himself was responsible for what happened to him. So that was the ending explained and our thoughts for Top Boy Season 5. If you have any different theories and have reached a unique conclusion, then do let us know in the comments box below. If you enjoyed the video, then please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.